Follow my socials.
Hi, beautiful people. September 15th, demo. Action with superpowers. Light spoilers. La. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Good ideas with production problems. The budget is clearly limited. Most of the designs is interesting. I know I am repeating myself, but it is an indication of the problem when the designs are not particularly innovative. The character that's supposed to be normal, it's not supposed to be true normal. Normal is something you might want to be and maybe eventually. True normal is boring. The character that's supposed to be awesome has a design that predicts his own personality completely, and in some ways that's positive, but mostly it's negative because you know what he could be like and you want him to be like that, but he's not that awesome. And at the same time, you have two characters that the anime is telling you are important with the same thing happening. In a character that's more passive like the boy, that can be interesting and useful. In a character that's more noticeable like the girl, no. And I hate their creature designs. Not only in how they are used, because we see that they are going to have this aspect of themselves in the intro, but also because we have this absolutely mundane transformation sequence that just makes them this is something that you do for the soldier of the evil empire because the first way they are revealed, it kind of gives them a little grandiose fame instead of the thing that always happens and always shows up. It's the Gosma warriors. It's the putties. It's not your hero or anti-hero or whatever you're going to make it in the next episodes. The villain of the story gets two designs that are both more interesting than that one, even though the second one is kind of crappy. And the story is predictable as hell, but there are so many of these problems that it makes me think the story is not that big a problem. But let the rocks roll. I honestly wanted these to be one of those shows that I can just laugh at the production problems. I was honestly planning to say, what the hell kind of dance is this? But then we have one of the main characters being attacked by the villain, and that's not going to be expanded on? The story is painfully predictable. And what you do in that situation is focus on the character because it doesn't matter that you know where it could end up. It matters that you care for the person going through that. It doesn't matter that you have a trio where two of them are the extremes and the other is in the middle, because what matters is what they are going to do with that. But if the pessimistic side makes sense and the optimist is just saying, oh, you always think like that, there's no point in thinking optimistically. You're basically saying the pessimistic side is right. And it's not a problem if that's your point, but it's clearly not. And the character your audience is supposed to relate to cannot be an idiot in no aspect. It is laudable that she doesn't accept a bribe. It is admirable that the corrupt cop dies, but it's not realistic that she's going to change how the whole town operates by herself. And now it's not just the neighborhoods, the whole city has to be in on it to some extent for it to happen, even if just turning a blind eye. The example that just doesn't work for me is that this character is so naive that she leaves her car unlocked, which does not work anywhere in the world. And then the anime shows us that she has to adapt because there's almost nothing in her apartment. Really? I've been in worse situations than her, and I'm not in the low class. I mean, I have had to sleep on a mattress. I don't mean without bed sheets, I mean without a bed. It's not uncommon for people who are starting to live alone. But now she's in this difficult situation up your ass. So it turns out that the anime makes it more difficult for you to relate to the character than to just think that she's an asshole. It's like you see that main character with the hat and the cane, and he is awesome in the last fight, but before the last fight, he was kind of unimpressive. You have this girl with a high schooler design that looks like she should be really cheerful, but she talks like this, and she's the optimistic one. You have this villain that gives a lot of exposition all at once, but he has a bunch of appearances. Why don't you spread it out? You have a bunch of people who drown to death, but their mouths are full of what looks like saliva, but it's supposed to be water. The people in charge just made it look viscous. You do know that water goes away or is absorbed, right? That's why when you get cadavers from bodies of water, they are all bloated. You know that, right? And I know there's no point in complaining about this, but he starts to get his second design after he's supposed to be getting weaker. The professor shows up, so maybe he did something, but there's no indication of that. And why in the flying fuck would you wait this long to give it a definite design? The rest of the episode, it looks like the monster is just supposed to be water. That's fine, it's not my personal choice really, but if you're going to go for a definite design, why would you actually have two? And why would you make him a smurf? But that's it. What did you think of this anime? Leave it on the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. And if you enjoyed it, please like, share with your friends, subscribe, and don't forget the bell.